The Castle by Franz Kafka. Chapter 10. I am your narrator. Kay stepped out into the wind-swept street and peered into the darkness. Wild, wild weather. As if there was some connection between the two, he reflected again how the landlady had striven to make him accede to the protocol, and how he had stood out. The landlady's attempt had, of course, not been a straightforward one. Surreptitiously, she had tried to put him against the protocol at the same time. In reality, he could not tell whether he had stood out or given in. An intriguing nature, acting blindly, it seemed, like the wind, according to strange and remote behests, which one could never guess at. He had only taken a few steps along the main street when he saw two swaying lights in the distance. These signs of life gladdened him, and he hastened towards them, while they too made in his direction. He could not tell why he was so disappointed when he recognized the assistants. Still, they were coming to meet him, evidently sent by Frida, and the lanterns which delivered him from the darkness roaring around him were his own. Nevertheless, he was disappointed. He had expected something else, not those old acquaintances who were such a burden to him. But the assistants were not alone. Out of the darkness between them, Barnabas stepped out. "Barnabas!" cried Kay, and he held out his hand. "Have you come to see me?" The surprise at meeting him again drowned at first all the annoyance which he had once felt at Barnabas. "To see you," replied Barnabas, unalterably friendly as before, "with a letter from Clam." "A letter from Clam?" cried Kay, throwing his head back. "Lights here!" he called to the assistants, who now pressed close to him on both sides, holding up their lanterns. Kay had to fold the large sheet in small compass to protect it from the wind while reading it. Then he read, "To the Land Surveyor at the Bridge Inn. The surveying work which you have carried out thus far has been appreciated by me. The work of the assistants too deserves praise. You know how to keep them at their jobs. Do not slacken in your efforts. Carry your work on to fortunate conclusion. Any interruption would displease me. For the rest, be easy in your mind. The question of salary will be presently decided. I shall not forget you." Kay only looked up from the letter when the assistants, who read far more slowly than he, gave 3 loud cheers at the good news and waved their lanterns. "Be quiet," he said, and to Barnabas, "There's been a misunderstanding." Barnabas did not seem to comprehend. "There's been a misunderstanding," Kay repeated, and the weariness he had felt in the afternoon came over him again. The road to the schoolhouse seemed very long, and behind Barnabas he could see his whole family, and the assistants were still jostling him so closely that he had to drive them away with his elbows. How could Frida have sent them to meet him when he had commanded that they should stay with her? He could quite well have found his own way home, and better alone, indeed, than this company. And to make matters worse, one of them had wound a scarf round his neck, whose free ends flapped in the wind and had several times been flung against Kay's face. It is true, the other assistant had always disengaged the wrap at once with his long, pointed, perpetually mobile fingers, but that had not made things any better. Both of them seemed to have considered it an actual pleasure to walk here and back, and the wind and the wildness of the night threw them into raptures. "Get out!" shouted Kay. "Seeing that you've come to meet me, why haven't you brought my stick? What have I now to drive you home with?" They crouched behind Barnabas, but they were not too frightened to set their lanterns on their protector's shoulders, right and left. However, he shook them off at once. "Barnabas," said Kay, and he felt a weight on his heart when he saw that Barnabas obviously did not understand him, that though his tunic shone beautifully when fortune was there, when things became serious, no help was to be found in him, but only dumb opposition. Opposition against which one could not fight, for Barnabas himself was helpless. He could only smile, but that was of just as little help as the stars up there against the tempest down below. "Look what Clam has written," said Kay, holding the letter before his face. "He has been wrongly informed. I haven't done any surveying at all, and you can see yourself how much the assistants are worth. And obviously, too, I can't interrupt work which I've never begun. I can't even excite the gentleman's displeasure. So, how can I have earned his appreciation? As for being easy in mind, I can never be that." "I'll see to it," said Barnabas, who all the time had been gazing past the letter, which he could not have read in any case, for he was holding it too close to his face. "Oh?" said Kay. "You promise me that you'll see to it, but can I really believe you? I'm in need of a trustworthy messenger now more than ever." Kay bit his lips with impatience. "Sir," replied Barnabas with a gentle inclination of the head. Kay almost allowed himself to be seduced by it again, into believing Barnabas. "I'll certainly see to it, and I'll certainly see to the message you gave me last time as well." "What?" cried Kay. "Haven't you seen to that yet, then? Weren't you at the castle next day?" "No," replied Barnabas. "My father is old. You've seen him yourself, and there happened to be a great deal of work just then. I had to help him. But now I'll be going to the castle again soon." "But what are you thinking of, you incomprehensible fellow?" cried Kay, beating his brow with his fist. "Don't Clam's affairs come before everything else, then? You're in an important position. You're a messenger, and yet you fail me in this wretched manner. What does your father's work matter? Clam is waiting for this information, and instead of breaking your neck, hurrying with it to him, you prefer to clean the stable." "My father is a cobbler," replied Barnabas calmly. "He had orders from Brunswick, and I'm my father's assistant." Cobbler, orders, Brunswick, cried Kay bitingly, as if he wanted to abolish these words forever. And who can need boots here in these eternally empty streets? And what is all this cobbling to me?